Okay. Alright, it's time to get busy. We don't have that much time before Halloween, and oh my goodness, was this week just a gigantic kerfuffle. I mean, nothing, but just craziness. Okay, yeah, let's play all that. No, I don't like Americana. Yeah, we'll go with that. A little bit of Kevin MacLeod to start this off. So, okay, what do we have before us? Well, we've got, we need to build. We need to make. There's one piece, and only one piece left to build. That piece happens to be the blaster. We are not ready to build it yet. Sadly, no. That's going to have to wait till at least tomorrow evening's stream. So tomorrow evening is when I plan on fabricating the blaster. Keep that in mind because, well, who doesn't want to see the blaster get built? We'll probably build it all in one go. Now, with regards to the blaster, I've gone on and on at length about how it's going to work. Just general broad brush strokes. It's like this. I did find the bit that I needed to do to make it with, though. And I would have liked to have found something a bit more well-suited, but oh well, this'll have to do. I'll use the opposite side, actually, when time comes, but I'll be using one of these rollerblading wrist braces. It will provide a sturdy enough platform for the thing. Hey, Dweller! Hey, keep it going. Yep. Okay. Recording. Alright. So, basically, what we'll be working with is we'll be using one of these for the blaster, for the brace bit. Now, ideally, and I might even wind up going this route, I've got two of these. I might, am I recording? What's up? Yeah, I'm streaming, Dweller. Anyway, hi. So, yeah. Anyway, what we'll do is we've got spots to affix it, and then spots to connect the other bit. And that's what we'll be doing tomorrow with the blaster. So yeah, that's what's going on. What's going on? But for today we're doing more design work. More design work. More design work. More design work. A little bit of shoring up this, a little bit of doing that. Just basically, I love this song. It's so peppy in an 8-bit way. Now, a couple of items. We're going to be making some small modifications today. Going to be making some modifications to the current batch of stuff. For example, the armor on the legs. We're going to be taking these segments back here and trimming up, for example, this bit here, this dip. We'll also be trimming down this bit back here on both sides. This is going to help make the, what's it called? It's the, going to make the knees, the thighs, and the shins fit together a bit more nicely. As is, when they peak up like this, and you're bending your leg, it tends to cause a problem or two. So we're going to fix that by, just cutting that piece out, which is, kind of the best way. Relaxing and listening. Okay, cool man, glad you're enjoying yourself. Actually, I think I'll be better off using the Saber of Exact Zero. Fitting for yourself. Yeah, I'm very much an 8-bit type of person, so I do find this song to be fitting. I'm just going to basically straight up round it here and round it this way. Okay, cool. You do what you do. Besides, I think this looks cooler than that. Quite a bit. Quite a bit. Had a fun blind race on excuse me, on Retro Gaming Live TV the other day. I would have been somewhat competitive if I hadn't had taken so many deaths on Wart. But, you know, that's what happens when the one non-speedrunner agrees to be involved in a speedrun race with, you know, with 4 other speedrunners. 3 other speedrunners. Technically, Solid Frog's not a speedrunner, but you know what he had going for him. Okay. He had going for him that he was the one who picked the game, so he kind of knew how they all worked. Myself, I was just kind of guessing, but I don't hold that against him. Don't hold that against any of them. Can't you hear my not holding it against them in my voice? Sorry, my throat's a little on the sideways. I do believe I'm coming down with something, sadly, but not much to be done about it. Just kind of gotta grin and bear it. Gotta get in these small areas here. It's where the where the Saber of Exact Zero earns its keep, is in these crevices and cracks here. So, to those of you who are watching me on Twitch, hello and welcome. To those of you who are watching on YouTube in the archived version, hello and welcome to you as well. I hope that you are enjoying the show. It's a lot of work. A lot of work has gone into this costume. I believe I'm into it on stream because I've been live streaming the whole shebang. I believe I'm into it about 40 hours or so. And of course, I'll be doing Mrs. The Mactions. I'll be doing her costume eventually. I mean, not in time for Halloween, of course, but certainly at some point in time I'll be doing hers as well. Okay, cool. And this, all the Velcro's good, both sticky hook and loop sides. Good. Alright, so that one's basically done. Now, I've debated about doing some additional designs, but I actually have thought better about it since. I think that this once painted is going to be pretty darn good. Even without any additional embellishments. Like, for example, where did I put those? Hang on, give me just... there we go. I see them. For example, these bad boys are going on the side of the, they're going on the side of the thighs. And so there have been cuts here and rivets put here with the Dremel. And when I heat them up, they'll look particularly good. And then they'll go on the sides as a sort of accent piece. Now these are going to look really quite good, both before and after painting. But, and I thought about doing some stuff kind of like this down here, but I just... This is where being, as I am, uncreative, in spite of what you may think, this whole process has required some creativity, but no, like, traditional artistic creativity. Just a sort of, well, I've seen other people do stuff like this, let's just try it out and see if it works, No real dig deep and be creative moments. But to do something like this, like these designs, requires some true dig deep and be creative moments. And sadly, the wellspring of my creativity is extraordinarily shallow. That should be, if it's not already, a quote. And it can be a quote. You're welcome to quote me on it. Now, I don't relish the idea. I'm not exactly opposed to redoing some sections of this work at a later time. So, for example, if it turns out that the shins, for example, are my least favorite item of the whole thing, then I'm not unwilling to just redo the whole shebang, the whole kit and caboodle type thing. But, that's how it goes. So, let's do this thing. And among other things, I think the shins are one of the pieces that I would most consider redoing. It is noteworthy that I could probably have gotten this thing done a lot faster if I weren't dedicated to making sure that the build log was extensive. And I mean, when it comes time, I don't want to just take pictures and write a description and be like, oh, this is how I did, and post that up on Imgur. No, or post it up on the 405th or whatever. No, I want to be like, hey, look at this. Here's the video playlist. Here's 40 hours. Here's every single instant of the thing. Every epiphany, everything I learned during it. Here it is, captured, preserved. And you better believe that once I'm done with the that once I'm done with the thingamajig, once I'm done with the suit, that's exactly what's going to happen. There's going to be a post up on the 405th or cosplay.com or wherever people put these things, and it'll be like, look here. I'm sure many of you are thinking about how to get Mega Man done. Let me help. I suffered through this. I did this. I learned. And you can too. Okay. Now, this is the one that was particularly off-kilter. But when you're more than a couple feet, when you're more than like 6 inches away, and when it's wrapped around my leg, you don't really notice that. Of course, when we're all done with this, we'll be going over this with some fine grit sandpaper. I'll be making some of the sanding sticks that Evil Ted Smith uses, because they are just brilliant. That'll do. Yeah, that's a good line. A lot of my desire to have this well documented is born from the fact that when I was trying to do research on how to get this, on how to do this, a lot of the stuff I saw, it was like, oh, here's our idea, and it showed a rough sketch, and then it just showed, and we cut it out of these barrels, and, they just magically kind of had the sketch to the right size now, They jumped whole swaths of work. Not to mention the fact that, nobody did anything about painting. And granted, I didn't do anything about the painting of this. Hey, Pizza, how's it going? P squared is in the building. To borrow a Mr. Nice Guyism. But yeah, so I mean, a lot of my work would have been easier, especially especially the conceptual segments, if I had, something a bit more concrete to point my interest at, rather than just sort of, oh look, we did this thing, and 6 months later, it's done, yay! I'm like, gee, thanks. I mean, I'm sure that's all fine and good for the people who know everything about costuming and making armor out of foam and such, but for someone like me who had never, who's this is my first attempt, you know, I mean, it's like, hey, thanks, guys. Sure didn't need anything more, you know, more in-depth to help me along the way than just, oh, and so we did this. Well, how did you get it from point A to point B? No, it's just magically there? Kind of like, thanks. It's going alright. I'm just kind of ranting a little bit about the whole reason why I decided to live stream the whole thing. Was because of a lack of, you know, good documentation on the making of pieces of, you know, costume pieces like this. So, pizza. In case you happen to be abreast of the situation, I don't actually know what it's kind of like the difference. I feel like every time I ask, it's kind of like if I'm asking somebody, you know, so what's the difference between a graphic novel and a comic book? They're like, well, graphic novels deal with more adult things. Okay, so it's just, you know, a comic book that's rated M for mature. Then, is that what it is? No, it's so much more than that. You know, I kind of feel like I run into that situation when I ask about what's the difference between, you know, making a costume and cosplaying. Usually it's someone like, you know, they're like, well, you really get into character. I'm like, oh, okay, so basically, you know, you add on the print. And I'm no stranger to it. I mean, I play Dungeons and Dragons, for goodness sakes. I mean, additionally, I also have, I used to LARP way back in the day. So, I mean, I'm no stranger to the notion of role-playing. I mean, I know more about role-playing. I've got a lot more experience than plenty of people I run into. I mean, but, oh well. So let's see. Oh, hey, Zach, how's it going? Maction Action. Watching the stream will make you fill with satisfaction. Nice. But yeah, so anyway, we've made some small adjustments to this, whereas before it kind of went flat across here and down. Now I've made it follow the plating so that it goes down like so. We will also be making some small edits to the bottom half to accommodate for the shoes. And yeah, but that's all that we have to do on this for right now. So I'll put it over here. So good. And how are you, Zach? And sorry about the rant. Sometimes I just, you know, it's like, oh, well, you know, let's rant now. Okay. We're going to work on the next piece of armor. The next piece of armor we're actually fabricating. Hang on, let me see here. Real quick, I got a message. Okay. Let's see. So the next piece that we're going to be fabricating, we're going to be working on actually the shoulders. Let me show you what I mean. So, basically, what I did for the shoulders was I took these little patches. I'm doing alright, Zach. I've had a disappointing week, but you know what? We're powering forward. We're gonna make things awesome again. So anyway, at the shoulders, what I put down was I put down these patches and then glued it to there so that I could get the open and close action that I want. And as a matter of fact, what we'll be doing in here is I'll turn it this way, is this nestles into this right here and, you know, and hooks on. Oh, do I need to... Now, hold on a tick. Is that cut? Yeah, this is cut the way that it's supposed to be. Yeah, that's right. These were just registration marks. So, yeah, like, for example, I had to work both Friday and Saturday, which I shouldn't have had to have worked, on stuff, which meant I couldn't stream, so now we're behind schedule, which is why I'm streaming. Normally, I wouldn't be streaming on a Sunday afternoon. Normally, I'd be doing a patron live stream for the people who are my patrons on Patreon. Anybody who's, like, you know, the P over there, Yep, over that way. Anybody who's... Hi, Sir JJ. Anybody who's donated, who's pledged $1 or more per month, can come to the monthly patron-only live stream. And, you know, we just sort of sit back, talk, relax. People give suggestions as to what items I should review for the future. I talk about the gear that I have that I'm going to be giving away, because I give that stuff away to patrons. So, yeah. Anyway, not important. What is important is that I'm behind, so I'm scrambling. So what we're going to do here in this scene is we're actually going to put some hook and loop closures in here and in here so that it nestles in and clips. And of course the paint job will help keep that sort of, you know, put together. And what we will do, however, is we will grind this edge a little bit with the Dremel tool to make it look more flush, so that when it's together it doesn't look, you know, bad or anything like that. Now, additionally, because we still have this bit up top with the, hang on. Here we go. There we go. That's how it meets up. We need something on the shoulders to sort of cover up the seams there. So we're going to make some we're essentially, let me grab this here, we're essentially going to make some slightly wider versions of these, not two, but just one, that's wider, that's the same width as here, and comes down just a little bit to here, and back up, and we're actually going to glue here and here, but not glue in here, so that we can still get the folding action that we want from that. And additionally, we're going to put some rivets, which we accomplish by putting the Dremel tool there. Those round bits are rivets. That's what they'll look like when they're done. We put a rivet in each side so that it looks like it's riveting the two halves together. So it'll be like that. But yes, forget the past. The best is yet to come. Good attitude to have, Zach. Good attitude to have. So let's design this piece, one piece for each shoulder, and let's get them on there. Now we want to keep them, we can let them come off the edge a little bit, but we don't want them to come into the neck. Reason being is that this is pretty dang tight as is. It's about as tight as I ever want it to be currently. As a matter of fact, I might even Dremel out a little bit in here, but let's not worry about that right now. Let's worry about fabricating the second to last piece we ever need. Now, quick aside, before I get started on that, I want to poll you guys on a little something. As you may notice, the depiction of Mega Man here has some stuff on his back. I'm a little hesitant to incorporate that into the design, mostly because I want to be able to sit down and relax when I want to sit down. However, I'm a little bit concerned that if I put those bits there, which those happen to be 2 bits, one is about yay big that goes kind of on the love handle back here, and the other is about yay big that goes up here at the top of the back. I'm a little bit concerned that by putting something there, I'll actually make it difficult. Just relax. Oh, that's a cool emote. What is that? For whatever reason, my hovering isn't working, but that's okay. We'll just not worry about that for right now. So, yeah, but I do want to be able to sit down and relax. And I kind of feel like if I've got something there, I'm going to be just hunchbacked. So I'll be like, okay, I can lean there, but then I've got to slouch the whole time, which I don't care much for the thought of. I know that the armor's going to be restrictive. There's no way around that. But I don't want it quite that restrictive. So my current plan is to actually not do that. Okay, so it's a pound sign with 4 O's. Interesting. Interesting. I haven't seen it before. Is it an FF... maybe it's not an... I don't think it's an FFZ emote. Is it a global emote by chance? Huh, okay. Oh, pound with 4 O's. Okay, so it might be yeah, I think you're right. I think it's BBTV. I think you are right. But oh well, not important. Thank you for sharing it with me, but we'll power forward now. Now we'll just go ahead and use this blank sheet of paper for making our thing because we've got basically everything we need. Now we want it no wider than 10 centimeters. We probably want to shoot for 9 centimeters, frankly. Yeah, 9 centimeters should be sufficient. So, sharing is caring. Oh, thanks, guys. And of course, I love that seems good emote. Alright, so we want approximately 9 centimeters wide. 9 and 9, we want approximately 18 centimeters long. And, a little bit of sort of kinda, I don't want to quite say banana shape, but you know, a little bit, and that, my liege, is how we know the Earth to be banana shaped. But a little something like that, where it kinda, you know, where it kinda bananas, in on each side. So it, you know, crescent moon, a little bit crescenty. So, let's start by making our mins and maxes. So, 9 centimeters. Good, good. Uh, 9 centimeters and 18 centimeters. Let's do 9 from this side as well. A little bit of classical music on a Sunday. Use the grids that we have here to make sure that we're going more or less straight. Okay. 18. Cool. There we go. All right. So that's our area to work with. Now, as far as design within this, we don't want too great of a thing, but we naturally want it to round on each side. Now, when I think about this, how I want it to go, I want it to go out towards the shoulder more and less in towards the collar. So what we'll do is at 9 centimeters in, we'll put our maxima, our local maxima. I do like this song. It's very reminiscent of, what's it called? It's, Chrono Cross in its style. Alright, so we know we want to max it out here, and we want to min it in here. I say let's go in 1 and, let's go in 1 1/2 centimeters here. So instead of a full 9 centimeters, we'll do 7.5 right here. And that gives us our areas. Local maxima. Is this math? Hang on, I have a special emote for this, just for this exact occasion. Ha ha! So now let's do this, and let's plan on coming in on each of these sides. Let's plan on coming in a full centimeter. A full centimeter. Here we go. Aha! Yep. Special emote just for this occasion. Okay. So we basically want to do a little something like that. And a little something. A little something like that. I like that change right there. Okay, a little something like that, and then on the inside we'll have another similar thing. We'll go from here to there and there. There to here. Okay. So now we've got sort of the general idea for our little shoulder band, but we do want to round them on either side. So I'm going to kind of just going to make a sort of ooh. Make sure no condensation on here. Watch the frog, Zach. Watch the frog. Let's see. Maybe one of these. Yep, that's the ticket. There we go. A little bit on each side. A little solid something or other. Okay, cool. And yeah, that's good. That's good stuff. Good stuff. Planet of the Frogs. Okay. And you know what? I'm okay with that sort of gentle curve to much sharper curve. Hang on just a second. Okay. That's handled. Alright, let's move forward on that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out the full square here. I'm going to fold it in half along its axis, and then I'm going to just cut out one side according to the plan so that we have a roughly, so that we do have an identical, a symmetrical thingamajig. I do not like this song. Yeah, that's better. I mean, it's not the best, but it's better. Okay. Okay. And actually, I need to change this around a little bit because this came in farther than the edge. So, there we go. That's a bit better. Okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and fold at the 9 centimeters. Okay, and, well, we'll go with this side that's a little bit, just cut this. Okay. We'll cut it like so. Here we go. And last but not least, we'll cut this side here. Let's just... There we go. So now we have our little shoulder bits. They cut in, and it's a little rounded. The slope is you know, a little bit rough to see from that distance. But when we put it on here, and we put it on the shoulder, oh, hey, it's not going to be wide enough. I could have sworn I measured that properly. Oh, that's right. You're an idiot, Mac. You measured here at the... And you were like, oh, well, we don't want it less than this, but you used that as your max. Ah, okay. So basically, we need to redo this, but we need to redo it larger. Or wider, at least. No wider than 10 centimeters. Yeah, 10 centimeters is what we need to shoot for. Curses. And this, at its widest, is that 9 centimeters. It needs to be a full centimeter wider in some places. So we basically need to just kind of go whoop, whoop. So let's do that. Let's, but the angle is good. So let's actually, and the length is pretty good too. So let's duplicate the angle, or let's duplicate the side, like so. This is why they say measure twice, cut once. And now that we've got it there, let's go out to here. Okay. Here we go. And we can use this for the same thing. Hi, Deathstorm. How's it going? Good to see you. Oh, now it's basically as big as that. Okay. A little bit wider there. There we go. That should be about what we need. Yeah, long time, Deathstorm. I'm doing all right. Just doing my best to get this done in time for Halloween. Okay, let's see here. Okay, if the next Kevin MacLeod song isn't a good one, we'll just be skipping. We'll just skip to the other stuff. Ah, well, it is a good one. What's happening with you now? Yeah, tick-tock, clock. Yep, that's exactly what's happening with me right now. I'm just feeling the pressure. Under pressure, pressing down on you, pressing down on me. Under pressure. Yeah, I think we'll go with the slightly more curved version. From here. that, and like so. Nice, I can handle that. Let's double check it against the shoulders and see what's up. You're planning after Halloween? No. This has got to be done for Halloween. I've got this week. This is the final countdown type of time. But no, this is what's got to be done for Halloween. Yep, looks like that'll do the trick. And about halfway, good. This will go on top. So what is it, Deathstorm? Are you excited, or do you hope that you are excited? Just kidding. Yeah, I hope it gets there as well. It would be really nice to have it done in time, especially because I do have a backup, though. I do have a backup plan, because you always make a backup plan. Some people are against backup plans and exit strategies because they're like, well, you know, you shouldn't need it. You know, you should... Don't make a backup plan. You need to have faith in yourself. And, you know, crud like that. Which is, you know, I mean, that's one way of looking at things. The way I look at it is that you always have a backup plan, not because you don't believe in yourself, but because you don't believe in the universe around you to align in such a way as to satisfy your goals. It's a fool who expects the universe to provide their goals and dreams. So, in that spirit, I always have a backup plan for big projects such as this. And so my backup plan, don't want to cut there. We've got holes, so let's go. See there and here. A backup plan is always good because believing yourself is overrated. Haha. Yeah, no, so in my case, I have a backup costume. I have two backup costumes, as a matter of fact. One is Dr. McNinja. He's a character from a webcomic. You may or may not be familiar with Dr. McNinja. But I have been Dr. McNinja before, so I'd prefer not to revisit an old costume. The other is one that I saw when I was at Comic-Con. There was a guy who had a Stormtrooper helmet, and I have access to a Stormtrooper helmet, or a Clone Trooper helmet, I should say, and it says on it, although I'm a little hesitant because like everybody's doing Star Wars in honor of the films, everybody's doing Star Wars stuff. What it is I have a Star Wars helmet, or a Clone Trooper helmet, and wear a cardboard sign that says Clone Trooper Veteran. Anything helps. It was a good one I saw at Comic-Con. What about my sexy nurse costume? And my plan after Halloween, Deathstorm, is to continue doing what I've been doing, but once a week I'll be working on Mrs. Max Samus costume. So anyway, it'll probably just be Saturdays. I'll work on it on Saturdays. Saturdays during the daytime is my plan with Mrs. Max Samus costume. So yeah. But that's my plan for after Halloween with regards to costuming. shoulder. Now, of course, one of the other things I've mentioned before, in passing mostly, about my Patreon bit, one of the things is that these patterns, the patterns for the entire thing, are going to be on Patreon for patrons to download. So yeah, if you feel like you want the Mega Man designs, hop on Patreon, go ahead, shoot $1 my way, and you can get the pattern. Or if you think I'm really cool, shoot something more than $1 my way, and you can have the pattern. Mega Man and Samak. Ha. Good one. Yeah, Mrs. the Mac requested Samus, so who am I to disagree? So let's get rocking and rolling here. I'm just gonna make the initial score on this. So that's easier to follow when I go in. All we need is some people to show up as Mario and Luigi, and we could have our own. Smash going in the middle of the convention floor, and I'm sure we'd be able to find some. A matter of fact, the last time I went to a convention that wasn't, professionals and industry people only, was GameStop Expo. And there was a reasonable amount of people dressed up for GameStop Expo as well, which surprised me a little bit. It probably shouldn't have, but it did. For the most part, I mostly just wind up going to conventions where it's industry people only, and that's the type of convention I prefer. But Mrs. Mac wants to go to a con dressed as Mega Man and Samus, and who am I to disagree? Because she does so much outside of her comfort zone for me that I deserve to do something. So, am I going to be streaming every day? Deathstorm, I will be trying, but I still have to work. And I mean, I would have been streaming both Friday and Saturday if I didn't have to work Friday and Saturday unexpectedly. So, let's just hope I don't have to do any other unexpected work, because then, if that's the case, Mac here might have to pull some graveyard streams. Some super long streams, and I really don't want to, because I still have to be able to function at work. And it's hard to function when you can't get enough sleep. I mean, I get the impression that you guys are mostly a little bit younger than I am, and as such, especially Deathstorm, I think you are quite a bit younger than I am, and I think you have a much easier time of functioning with insufficient amounts of sleep. But for me, it's really quite rough. I spent a good solid 6 years in undergrad, doing a night job, as well as going to doing a graveyard job and going to classes during the day. So so I'm not quite as good at that as I used to be, in no small part because of that. So I'm going to have to Dremel both of these because we can't really adhere. Working, yes, I did, I ran a hotel. I was the graveyard front desk person because it was kind of the only thing that would fit with my school schedule. So anyway, what we'll do is, among other things, we'll put 4 rivets in here. One here, 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 and here. We will Dremel off the back side of this. We will then attach it here on the top. We'll glue it. We'll form it and glue it, and we'll only glue it here and here so that we can still actuate the thing. Actually, we'll probably form it and then just glue it in one spot, probably at the front, and then have it so that we can do sort of free range like that. I might use something like a flexible adhesive down here or some such, but we need something to cover these shoulders while still letting us get into and out of the thing. So that's what we're doing with that. So you study also. Yes, I'm 19, but my time, but so bad. Chemistry. Chemistry is my field of expertise. And it's a fantastic field of expertise to have, just as an aside. Chemistry is wonderful. So good. You don't have to deal with the same sorts of shenanigans in research papers that you have to deal with in the social sciences. You've got your laws of thermodynamics. You just do your thing. Be clever. Do that. Be you. And you can excel in chemistry. Chemistry is difficult. There's no two ways about that, but it is enjoyable and rewarding. How about you, Deathstorm? What do you study? If anything, of course. I just kind of assume that at 19 years old, you study. I hate chemistry and got an F in high school. Oh, man. Don't let that stop you. Chemistry is just the best. And really what's great is here's what's funny, right? So you probably got an F in chemistry because you weren't exactly a big fan of the math. The math was annoying. The math was rough. The math was blah, 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 blah. Do you know that the most failed chemistry course is organic chemistry? And do you know how much math there is in organic chemistry? Almost zero. Because chemistry, on the one hand, it can be very math-heavy. Your quantitative analysis, your can be very math-heavy. But the hardest chemistry is conceptual chemistry. It is theoretical chemistry, and that is what organic chemistry is. So if you can focus on principles, if you can focus on concepts of chemistry, then you can do brilliant at chemistry. You just need to power through the general chemistry and get to organic chemistry, and then you will just find a love for chemistry that's amazing. I think from my school, or from me, I'm afraid I don't quite understand Deathstorm. I think from my school that you probably failed because of your school or because of your own study habits. Is that the meaning that you are trying to convey? I apologize. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes my reading comprehension is not as good as it should be, especially when I'm focusing on something else. Okay. Good, good. My favorite version of Pop Goes the Weasel. Don't talk like that, Deathstorm. As I said, chemistry is the greatest. You just need to find yourself in the position of being in organic chemistry. That's when everything gets awesome. I repeated the final exam and got a D. Don't stab my hugs, Sir Double J. Love my hugs. Reciprocate my hugs. Don't stab them. But yeah, I understand that. I did not do so well in high school chemistry. Chemistry is rough, but seriously, give yourself a chance to get to organic chemistry, and you will just it's just wonderful. It's a whole different world, a whole new world. It's probably because I hate school. I do like this song. It's the reason why it's the intro. So, okay, we've got these two pieces. We'll have to do it. Hey, Pillowfort, how's it going? Good to see you, my boy. Studying school now, business management. Good emote use. Good emote use. Alright, so now we are done with the shoulder bits. These shoulder bits, as I was explaining, we'll Dremel them down, and we'll put them here on the on this bit, curve them of course, so that they cover up the seam there. Now we'll do it a bit like so. And it'll look like that. We are taking some small liberties with the Mega Man design, yes, I know that, but it's time. The other thing that is kind of an option, and we could still do it, is I was considering, and let me just cut it real quick and show you the thought that I had in mind, right? I love the sound of grabbing those coins in there as a percussive. Okay, so the thinking was that we'd do a little something like, yeah, I think I've got enough in here for this. Let me just get my ruler and cut this. I'm studying computer science, meaning I'm basically learning most of the things I already know. You're in the second semester of uni, okay. Okay, and let's do this bit here. Okay. So basically, the idea is that we would take something like this and we'd put it around the back of the neck, right? So that it wraps around. And then we would have more or less platforms here that it would glue directly onto. The idea being is that we would have a sort of collar, a high collar like Mega Man has, right? It would come around like so, and then what we would do is we would just run some sort of a line from here to here that hasped it, and then we would put that collar and all on top of the chest plate. Now the downside is, and I tried testing this earlier, but that in practical purposes, when we're talking about moving one's head around, already it's hard enough moving your head around when you're in the costume, as is. As a matter of fact, I'll tilt the camera up and show you a little bit. Okay, so already what I've got going on here, if I try and turn from right to left, I don't know if you can hear it rubbing, but already it rubs when you look up, and this is about as high up as I can look when it hits the back here, so that's about how high up you can take your head, and of course down you can only go about here. Right, you can turn about like so, and left you can turn about like so. But if we were to add an additional collar along the back here, I would have to make some incredible modifications to the helmet to be able to do anything. But this is my range of motion now. Even something as short as just about an inch wide. But you would at minimum need an inch to gain that sort of idea. But you go, that's how high you could go. You barely nod, and then side to side, you would hit right about here and here. So we desperately need to keep this range of motion open, unless we're just not going to wear the helmet at all. And I mean, granted, I thought Mega Man looked really cool in Mega Man 2 when he wasn't wearing the helmet, but really? Not wear one of the most iconic items of Mega Man? Yeah, that's just a little crazy. Indeed, but I'm not going to keep it here because the most important thing is that we see.
There's a time for words, and then there's a time for action.
Well, thank you for the follow, Super. So what we've got is that's what we're dealing with, and that's why we can't make these various movements with our head, motions and so on. It's really going to need to be basically, and additionally, when we add the shoulder bits here, I'm going to need some dremeling in here on the inside, slope this inner area so that it doesn't bother as much with the side to side of the helmet. So that's basically the kind of stuff that we're fighting against. Oh, I'm glad that you like it. Glad that you like it, Super. Mega Man is getting made for Halloween. So yeah, that's where we stand with that, and that's why I have to make modifications to the design. It is merely art. It doesn't really encapsulate how this thing would have to work. No, I'm actually going to adjust the camera back down here because I'm nowhere near as important as the work, is my feeling on it. Oh, will I? Oh, yeah, I'll keep streaming. Go ahead, Deathstorm. Take your leave. We'll see you when you get back. But I'm just going to adjust the camera back down, and we can get back to work. Kind of you to say, Sir Double J, but, you know, like I said earlier when I was ranting on and on a bit, the thing that really bugs me about the build logs that people put up is that they don't include a lot of the important things like what you learned from it. I mean, that right there, the high collar, I mean, you know, that's something I learned when trying to test. So, let's get our moderators over here watching the chat. Okay, yep. Winston the Kiwi and Scooter the Squirrel. So yeah, basically at this point there's not much to do with these aside from to use the Dremel tool on them. And when I do that, I'll put on a video for you guys to see, you know, some of my YouTube work. But for now, we're still pressing forward. So that bit's done. Okay. Now, that takes care of that, because we're not going to be adding the back pieces, of course. These pieces are taken care of now. I am going to turn on the heat gun because there's one bit here that needs to be, you know, needs to be glued. Get a little bit of glue in there and get it solid, so that it doesn't peel up as much. And I also need to do it on the inside of this one as well. So that needs a little bit of TLC. Also, we will put together, and in here as well, we'll put together our shoes now. Because that's kind of, it's not the only thing left to do, but it's one of the few things that we actually have left to do before we start doing the design work. That piece needs to be put together. I'll also need to Dremel the shoulder pads so that they can be glued together as well. Now you can, if you absolutely have to, you can leave this finished edge that they have in here and glue it to raw foam. But it's best to do raw foam to raw foam for the better, you know, for the better thing. So you are better off dremeling off the finished edge. And you don't need to go too deep. As a matter of fact, if you look real closely, you can still see some of the divots in here. But you'll Dremel that off so that you get a more solid meeting, more solid mechanical bond between piece A and piece B. So there we go. We'll wait a second for the thing to get going. And oh, Chris is lurking. That's awesome. Thanks for lurking, Chris. I appreciate it, man. I really appreciate it. You and I, we both need to wear our helmets, man. We'll both wear our helmets to the same convention. It'll be great. So yeah. Any hoodly doodly, we've got that taken care of. We've got that sorted. As long as I can get everything done today that needs to happen, once I get this glue heated up, as long as I can get everything done today that needs to happen, tomorrow we will build the blaster. And so far we're on good track to get everything done that needs to get done today. But yeah, the blaster tomorrow is gonna be crazy and awesome and scary and really scary. But we are heroes. We shall strike out in the world, and we shall succeed where everyone else fails. Blaster time, indeed. I've gone on at great length about how the blaster is going to work, so I won't bore you with talking more about that. But Sir Double J, I don't think you've seen it since I talked about it last. So while I'm waiting for the glue to heat up, I'll show you the piece that we're going to use. We're actually going to be repurposing these rollerblading bits. Actually, what we'll be doing is we'll be using the oh gosh, will be we'll actually be cutting a piece of this off, but we'll be putting a screw in here and a screw in here, armature to the blaster pieces, and then moving it. Hey, Kid of Royalty, good to see you, man. Good to see you. Thanks for coming around yesterday. Thanks for coming around yesterday. Thanks for coming around yesterday during the blind race. I'm sorry I wasn't a bit more attentive when we were doing that. Oh, one other thing while I'm waiting for the thing to get ready. I got, some of you saw when I did that VR Quake using Google Cardboard. I played Quake, in VR, so when I moved my head, that's what moved the joystick. Well, I got a plastic version of the Google Cardboard rather than just, the sort of raw cardboard version. So expect a lot more streams with VR in the future. If, you were into that sort of thing, I'm sure that pleases you. Okay, sweet. Let's go ahead and, yeah, we need to shore up these bits. And we don't need all that much, but we do need a bit. I believe the name of this song is Montauk Point. Hey, DW! How was my sleep? Well, it was restful. It was good. It's the most sleep I've had in quite some time, so it was enjoyable. But I do wish that I had slept longer, frankly. But then again, who doesn't? Am I right? But how did the game go? How did it go, my man? Did you successfully rout your enemies? Slay your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of the women. We just kind of push this Velcro so that we get the hot glue pushing towards the outside of it, so that it gives a good solid seal the whole way along. It went well and you had a lot of fun. What's with Wold? What's with you guys saying Wold instead of Wolf? I don't get it. Is it an inside joke? Because I love inside jokes, and desperately want to be a part of inside jokes. I don't want to be on the outside of an inside joke. I want to be inside of the inside joke. It's a much better position to be in. The hold of this Velcro is really quite cool. Hey, Kame, good to see you, man. And I say Wold. Only Triple L and I say Wold. Ooh, I like this song. Mistakenly typed "buy Wold" one day into my chat. It was basically type Triple L made. Oh, was it him? Oh, okay. Gotcha. Very 70s, very waka chicka 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 waka chicka, which is the 1970s equivalent of or, do people say boots and pants and boots and pants? Like that stupid Geico pig commercial. Scrape that up. Yeah, I kept calling him that for no reason. Sorry, PC froze up, and now more ads, yay. Ads are the worst. Of course, by the time you hear what I'm saying, hopefully the ad is finished with. But yes, ads are the worst. But good to see you, Kame. I was lurking in Ayame's chat earlier when he was making the little wood pieces. And yeah, so I noticed that you were there, but that was just before I left to come and, start working on here. When are you gonna get started back on Chrono Cross, Kame? Oh, and of course, as you know, I did dead last in the blind race by quite a way. Oh man, so many parts I just got stuck on over and over and over again. I can't wait to listen to Velociraptor's commentary on my on that one dark castle where the lights went out and everything. We were having a deep convo here pretty quickly. You're gonna do it pretty quickly. No time for Chrono Cross. Gonna eat more Cajun spaghetti first. Well, Kame, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it. Because I'll be streaming from RGL TV later tonight at 7 p.m. my time, which is 8 p.m. Central Time, which I guess is 9 p.m. your time. And before that, I have to entertain, but before I can entertain, I have to get some real progress done. Sorry, Scooty. There we go. If anybody hasn't already, there's a highlight. My most recent highlight, Mrs. the Maction tells a story about Winston the Kiwi and Scooter the Squirrel. You should absolutely listen to it. Oh, good. Playlist over. Time to pull up playlist number 2. Which is 8 p.m. Kame's time, which is 9 p.m. my time. Mac, you screwed me with the squirrel. I almost thought it was I scared you with the squirrel. You almost thought it was weird? Real? Oh, sorry about that. Nope, it's Scooty the Squirrel. And for one stream a little while back, I had it. I had Scooty sitting on my shoulder, actually, which was really quite fun. And then and he stayed on my shoulder for quite a little while. And then of course Winston the Kiwi, which we know and love. He makes the lovely Kiwi sounds. But anyway, okay, cool. Okay, good. This one's done. Oh, come on, Winston. You gotta stand on your own 2 feet. You can't always lean on Scooty for support. But yeah, great highlight. Mrs. Mac freaks the heck out. You do have to turn your volume down at around the 3-minute mark of the 4.5-minute highlight, because Mrs. Mac starts screaming a little bit, with joy, of course, but a little bit of screaming is involved. So yeah. It's best to do that. Okay, so let's see. Breastplate done. Yes. Time to put together the shoes. All right. So I'm just gonna bring these over here and show you. For those of you who weren't around for the stream a little while back, I put together these shoes. So, basically, telling people my time zone might make me mistakenly swing my sword. So basically, what we've got going on with the here we go, with the shoe, is that I don't want to use up any of my my shoes on this project, but at the same time, because of the way this goes, I can't really, well, I suppose I could. I would just have to slide it in beforehand, and then if this was all one piece, I might be able to slide. Actually, I might not have to glue this to the shoe. I might be able to do this over the shoe. You know what? I can. Oh, but do I want to? Yeah, let's experiment with doing it just over the shoe. Okay, I can make that happen. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Because it's going to be a bigger pain in the butt if it's permanently attached rather than if it's just painted and put over. And for example, this one, we bend it like so that it covers up this, but that's not the most important thing. But we glue it all together, and then we'll be able to just kind of slide the foot in and then put that on top. So maybe this isn't the best thing, but this is part of what the whole reason why I'm live streaming the entire process, because I want the thought process to be preserved in the thing. I want us to see why I made the mistake that I did, you know? I want us to know exactly why I made such poor decisions. Okay. Cool. So we're going to glue this to there along those lines, which will be good. Now, normally I would Dremel the inside of this, but I just don't think we've got enough. I don't think we've got enough time to take that break at the moment. I am, however, going to do the Dremeling. Absolutely going to do the Dremeling for the shoulder pads, though. That's gotta be Dremeled, because that's going to need a much more sturdy thing, because we're going to be messing around with that a lot. Hey, House! After the shoes, Mac, are you done with the shaping and fabricating and all that? Maction is not a speedrunner. Thanks, House. Thank you so much, man. Thanks for the host, too. After I'm done with this, the only thing left to do is tomorrow to actually fabricate the blaster. And that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to fabricate the blaster tomorrow. As long as I get everything done here today that needs to get done, we will fabricate the blaster tomorrow. So, House, I did watch that. I did finally finish watching that video about the ASRock, speed booster, and yeah, it seemed okay. I mean, it was kind of cool. The production quality of the whole thing left a little bit to be desired. But yeah, I love that pic of the filthy casual that steals from Mountain Dew and Doritos Legos. Cracked you up. Gotcha. one of the things that it is important to remember about this whole process is that if the worst should happen and you royally screw something up, as long as you've got the time, you can always build another piece. Well, the time and the materials. Dude, USB boost, the transfer rate. Yeah, I was, sadly, and this is just who I am, I was more compelled by the fact that the video quality was so bad. I mean, they picked, like, the worst person to talk about it. Won't see the light of day on a shirt. Well, not enough people retweeted and favorited it, Kami, so it's an idea that won't see the light of day on the shirt. Get that excess hot glue out of there, because we do not need it. Okay, good. This side is glued. So, pretty soon here, I think next month, we're going to do that live stream through the telescope at night. So if any of you are city dwellers who haven't seen the stars ever, / in many years, you'll be able to see some of the best night sky in the northern hemisphere next month. Additionally, I'm going to debate on a little something. We might actually wind up doing that more than once, and if we do, I might use it as a means for donations. Specifically, the gear is going to be donated to me for use by the Southern Utah Space Foundation, and if you make a donation during that time, it will go, number one, to the Space Foundation, and number two, it will a donation will mean that you can pick where the telescope looks next. So, yeah, just kind of an idea I'm toying around with. We might do it, we might not, but I would love to be able to give a donation to the Space Foundation, especially since they're so kindly providing the gear for said live stream. But yeah, we'll see about that. You live in the sticks now, so you stargaze too? Sweet. Poor Mac out of the loop. We better send him to our out of the loop. I will donate the day Mac agrees to 69 his chair for $69. So I'm really thrilled about these people who are boycotting the new Star Wars film, because it means that they won't be in the theaters taking up seats on opening night, which means maybe I've got a chance of making it to opening night. Not that I probably will, but you know, it's just very good for me. Thank you very much for grabbing the bot mods, much appreciated. Much appreciated. It was in hand, so you couldn't make it. It's okay, we got it sorted. And then this will just kind of fit down over. It'll tension set so that I don't need to worry about anything. And yeah, if after some testing it doesn't feel like it's working properly, then what we'll do is we'll actually put some Velcro down to kind of hold it where we need and where we want it. That said, the Goatee was retiring from Twitch. Goatee's retiring from Twitch? Really? Goatee? Interesting. I wonder why. This project would have taken a slightly different path if I had thought about doing these as slip-ons earlier. But oh well, can't be helped. You know, as sort of overlays, if you will. But yeah, better mechanical bond comes on raw foam to raw foam. But if you have to, you can use raw foam to finished foam. But, you know, and in this particular instance, I'm kind of in a hurry on these, and I know it's bad to be on there. I'd retire the day I became famous at 30k per stream. These look like Sanic shoes. Ah, yeah. I need to see if he's trolling. Gotcha. Yeah, no worries. Go see if he's trolling, because that is very intriguing news, if it's the truth. Welcome back, Sir Double J. And thanks for the Sanic emote. And now we wait. Lots of waiting in the gluing portions. It's kind of all you do at the you know, once you've got the glue going. I never left, but I wanted the mods to make a mod wall so I could break it. Oh, I see. I see. I suspected that you had gone AFK. Of course, I kind of suspect everyone goes AFK when they're not talking as much as they, you know, usually are. I'm like, oh, they've gone AFK. That's cool. Still gotta wait. If you wet your finger, you can push it along the hot glue and sort of help kind of set it up a bit. But if you do it when it's too warm, it'll still just wreck your finger. Which is really kind of a shame, because I like my fingers not being wrecked. Oh, I always feel like somebody's watching me, and I got no privacy. Okay, now I'm actually going to hit this from the other side. Because I want a better seal than I think I'm getting with these two pieces. And this is part of the reason why it's important to do your best to get the to try and get the thing, you know, to get raw foam to raw foam. You just plain get a better mechanical bond. The hot glue does not taste good. I advise against double dipping. Okay, alright. I can leave it like that for the time being. So we'll just leave you over here. It's a crazy driver. It's a crazy driver. I'm not sure I understand. Nice, a lot of area to bond there. Well, it depends on what type of chips you have with the hot glue. Was it Ruffles or Tostinos? Ah, double dipping. Yes. Ruffles, really, because Ruffles have riches. Going to there we go. Crisis averted. Just an attempt to break my heart for fun. Oh, why would Goaty do that? My heart can't be broke. It's made of iron or something. That seems terrible of Goaty to do. You know, I must confess, Goaty follows me, but I don't think I've caught any of Goaty's streams. So I'm not exactly sure what I'm missing. You know, I'm not sure what I would be missing if he decided, if Goaty elected to retire. Of course, by the same token, you know, I'm sure at the very least, what I would be missing would be Kame's heart, or half of Kame's heart, or Kame's heart in totality, unbroken, is one of the things that I would be missing. Only if you accept it. Yeah, you realize lately I've been making sure to support everyone that's supported me, but you haven't caught Goaty, eh? Will you watch my streams? Are you supporting Kame? Falling in pieces under the bridge of fire burns. Somewhere the pages start to turn. Somebody whispers, I need this. I will do anything just to make you see. Don't apologize for what's in your dreams. Maybe this time will be different. You just gotta follow for no reason. If only I streamed. Oh, that was me. Yeah, Pillow Fort, you picked a good person to follow. Houseless Gamer is also another one who does a lot of streaming. Houseless Gamer is a speedrunner. Kame and I are both filthy casuals, of course. It scared me about half to death because I have the window open. the notification. Undertaken in our light, temple of our lives, showing us visions of the future. So many faces left to find, down in the caverns of our mind. Need you to follow me deeper. Yeah, Twitch alerts. Well, Pillow Fort, when you play in comfort, in a Pillow Fort. Cleaning up these edges as I go, getting as much of the excess hot glue as I can. Not that it's a huge deal, but the more hot glue that I get off before, that I get off of the pieces before, the less I have to cut off later. Okay, now we're ready to attach that cuff. So first, let's bend it to the shape that we want. We need an oval shape to this. Okay, good. Good, and we will attach it. Now I'm actually thinking about going from the bottom first. Yeah, Goku yelling Kamehameha, then Ryo doing Duken! Oh yeah, well of course you've got the thing up. You're preparing to stream Chrono Cross. So, Kame, all that Another World stuff. Yeah? There's one moment that I won't be able to make it for, I'm pretty sure, but I can't wait to watch the VOD. Your reaction is going to be great, because you quoted the song from Cheers in its entirety in your channel details. Oh, DW, you made his notification? Or you made Chrono Cross? Either is worthy of awesomeness. Okay, let's do this. Now we're gonna give this a second to start to set up, and then we'll press them together and hopefully achieve the type of bond we need for this. He made Chrono Cross, but because he's so awesome, he lets others take credit. Oh. I got your tweet, House. Just did. I'll check it out when I'm not busy creating art. Sorry. RIP headphone users. Cheers was one of the inspirations behind your stream idea. Oh. My sheets are fresh out of the dryer. Oh man, that is just the best. Although, the best way to enjoy sheets, fresh sheets, is with shaved legs. I did shave my legs at one point in time. It was pretty freaking fantastic, let me tell you. Don't do it anymore, because, you know, don't really need to, but man, clean, fresh, warm sheets on freshly shaven legs is pretty amazing. Of course, you don't shave too high up your legs because you don't want to have chafing. So, you know, just a heads up. Do 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 do. Get you in there. Get you set up. I hate the stringies, though. I'm not a fan of the stringies. Can't say you've shaven your legs. You like your sheets cold. But hey, one day, maybe when I'm bored, instead of playing guitar, shave your legs. It's not bad. I think everybody should experience it at least once. It's a pretty unique and good experience. And what is the point of living if you're not going to experience some things? Sometimes out of your comfort zone, like live streaming, like making armor live on the internet, like documenting, well, your failures for everyone to see. I'll meet you at the hideout, where we can engage in illicit activities. secrets like where I buried the treasure. Which is a shame, because we kinda need them to replenish the population of the planet. Which is, you know, kind of technically illegal if we still live in a world with property rights. Speedrun shaving your legs. Well, technically you dream only a very small amount of the night, just when you're in, you know, deep REM sleep, but, I mean, you know, sure, sometimes it feels like all night. Well, tell me how that goes for you, bucko. Well, technically, they don't really let you out into the air, so you're not really touching the sky when you're, you know, in an airplane. And we kind of put the whole tricks on biplanes back behind us quite some time ago. And until we get jetpacks, yeah, it's kind of gonna stay that way. Had a girlfriend once that hated body hair entirely, so I shaved everything. Not gonna lie, I liked it, but now I'm too lazy. Yeah. I tried it on the recommendation of a friend of mine, and yeah, I enjoyed it pretty well. But, I mean, same sort of thing. It takes a lot of upkeep to keep it that way. So, I was just a little too lazy to keep it going. Gotta get these feet out of the way. There we go. That'll get it in there. Okay, cool. Now we can just let it sit and let it set up. Now, time to try this out. Time to try this out on over the shoe. So basically, the plan is, let's see, this is the left. We take off our shoe, put this on. It'll stretch a little bit, but you know, you just be careful when you put it on and it'll go on. Okay, cool. And then we put on our left shoe underneath here, down at the bottom. A little unwieldy to get on, but you know, oh well, we'll manage. And then we just take and lower the whole assembly on, kind of squeezing it where it needs to be squoze. And then when we're all done, we've got a Mega Man foot. Now basically what we'll do is we'll plastidip and paint this just like we will everything else. But there we go, and we don't really have to modify all that much. And it should fit in reasonably with everything else. Let me try on one of the shin pieces, and we'll see if we need to make any modifications. Hey, Pizza. Technically, you're never touching anything. Just had a list of... Let's see. Technically, you are never touching anything. Just had a heart sneeze. Okay. Now, actually, what we'll probably do is we're probably actually going to cut off an inch or so off of the bottom of the shin piece. But let me just hike up my leg here. Pizza Pizza, thanks for the host. So there we go. It's a little rough, but you know what? I think it'll be just fine. It'll sort of sit on here, and that'll sort of sit on this. I'll definitely want to redo the shoes eventually. Hey, Chimera! How's it going? That foot is ridiculously awesome, thanks. Rose, it's great to see you. You know, I was a little sad that I didn't win the Stormtrooper helmet, but oh well. I've got my Mega Man helmet to keep me company. But I'm sure everybody's a little sad that they didn't win.
We need some action!
Rose, thank you so much for the follow. That means a lot to me. For those of you who don't know Rose, Chimera Rose is usually over in Evil FX's room. Modding over there. So it is a great honor to have Chimera Rose here in the chat, and you should all welcome her as befits nobility. So I expect to see /me bows to Rose in the chat. It's true, it never does /me bows to Rose. Hail Hydra. Hail Hydra. Okay. Glad to be streaming. You're commenting that you couldn't fly in the plane and then scientifically being able to touch a gas. There's space in between arms, makes everything, so technically we're never touching anything. Well, Pillow, both agree and disagree. It depends to a certain extent what you define as touching. For example, if we never touched anything, there wouldn't be sensory input on a macro scale. On a atomic and subatomic scale, it's kind of a wobbler because, again, it depends on what the definition of touch is. But yeah. Although I will say that there are moments where I kind of debate as to whether or not just wear combat boots with the Mega Man outfit at the end of the day, and I might have to make that determination. Kind of hard to bow when you've been climbing over the bodies of scrubs all week. Oh, really? I'm sure I was one of those scrubs working on it. All right. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to glue this onto the thigh piece. Where's my thigh pieces? They're back over here. Hang on, I'm going to put the... So we've got Rose, since you haven't seen it before, we've got shins. Going to need to make some small modifications to that. This is actually a design somewhat reminiscent of what you do for what Dave does for his Mass Effect armors. Except for I prefer having a closed inside rather than an open inside. Anyway, that's aside, but we've got our thigh pieces in here, which will be making things wear what's most comfortable. Yeah, I'm thinking about that with regards to the boots, but we'll just kind of see. So I've got a couple of these that I've made, added the rivets to the design work and the bits, and those will be going right here. Hopefully it'll add quite a lot to the design. Additionally, it'll go a bit like so. This will be on the outside, but I think it'll be I think it'll look good. But now Rose is quite a connoisseur. Dave, Evil FX, he is really quite good at his trade. So, you know, a little bit of pressure to perform. Just a skosh. And you know, Rose, until Dave had told me that I should make my do my stuff with hot glue, I was planning on doing it with contact cement. So I'm really grateful that I ran into you guys, and you were able to set me on the proper path. After walking around a con for 8+ hours, comfortable shoes are essential. Okay, we'll catch you later, Pillow Fort. But yeah, with regards to that, I'm just doing this for a Halloween party. I can almost guarantee you that I'll be doing combat boots for for what's it calls it's for a convention, because after I get done with this Rose, I'm making, hang on, this will clear the chat for a second, but it's okay. It's all about the method with hot glue, indeed. I'll be making this for Mrs. Mac after I'm done with my Mega Mac. So, yeah, I'll definitely have the chance to learn some more things. So let's see here. Got him. Mac doesn't know the 300 reference where Leonidas falls Xerxes. Kind of hard to kneel when he's been killing his army all morning. Oh, that's true. I don't know that. Alright, so for everybody who's look, we've got the things, and this is sort of that method that's really fun. You heat it up, and it just separates. These lines open up. It's really quite magical to kind of watch, because now it's a three-dimensional thing, you know. They've really opened up. They're not just drawings anymore. They are actually a thing. It's kind of fun. Oh, House, would you, thanks, House. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. And we'll heat this side up as well. Okay. We'll just, you know, we'll just give it a little bit of a bend. Yeah, in every room. I don't know what, but Twitch must have changed something around that made it easier for bots or something, because, by gosh, did the bots just start coming out of nowhere and come all the time and everywhere. It's crazy, really. So I really don't like doing big pieces like this with hot glue, frankly. When I do the helmet, though, every time I make the helmet like this, and I've made some secondary ones, backup ones, for giving away later, but when I do them, I prefer to do them out of, I prefer to do the seams out of contact cement rather than hot glue, because it's easier when you're trying to get that rounded bit, at least for me. Professionals like Dave and Rose managed to do a pretty good job. And Rose, thanks again for the follow. I much appreciate it. It feels like vindication a little bit of myself. I had Evil Ted of Evil Ted FX did show up one day. He didn't show up and stay, at least not that I'm aware. But he did tell me on Twitter that he thought that my stuff looked like I was doing a good job, and I just about died. I was like, he thinks my stuff is good. You know, a little bit of hyperventilating. Because, you know, fanboyed out just a bit. But, you know, who can blame me, right? Try the Gorilla Super Glue Gel. Oh, hey! Yeah, Ted is a great guy. He was really nice, and I'm sure that to a certain extent he was just saying that because, you know, because I tweeted at him and he was like, well, you know, his stuff's crap, but better tell him something nice, make him feel good about himself. But But yeah, nonetheless, I do appreciate that kind of consideration and kindness. After we get this main bit, I'll kind of chase the open bits and seams with some super glue or some hot glue and press them closed. But yeah, the super glue's not a bad call. I'll give that a go. I'll have to go buy some tomorrow, but yeah. Now, Mac, you can tell Mrs. Mac I got you on a movie reference. Indeed. And she will be so pleased about that. See, that is pretty sexy there. That does look pretty dang cool. I'm pretty pleased with that. The gel formula is the best. It doesn't run everywhere. Okay, I'll keep that in mind, Rose. Thank you. Thank you for the pro tips. I mean, if I spent a good solid, I don't know, a good solid 3 weeks lurking in the Evil FX streams before I started undertaking the Mega Man costume, because I was like, I've got to learn. I've got to learn how to do this. And fortunately, it was a great place to learn the ropes. The gel, he is the foam expert. He's the reason people use EVA floor mats for cosplay. Just no one really gives him the credit. Well, he has been doing it a long time, and I don't... I'm certainly willing to give him the credit for it. Especially because back in the day, they used to use that LD whatever, or LV50, or whatever that stuff was. Yeah, definitely super glue. I might leave the remainder of this to be finished up when we get the super glue. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna leave the rest of this for when we've got the super glue. But as you can see, that is how it looks. This is this is the front. I'm gonna put it on. Yeah, L200 to 400. That's the stuff. That's the stuff. Oh. Let's put you guys up there. Put you guys out of the way. I'll just slip this on real quick. Now, normally I actually wear compression leggings and top underneath the Mega Man armor. So if you need sheet foam, that's what you should order. Gotcha. What's the thing? Oh yeah. So, anyway, it's not gonna look quite as cool, but especially with my cargo pants. And it goes up a little bit. Ugh! Yeah, and it goes up a little bit higher normally, but is that not just sexy? When you become a vampire, you become sexy. That is good stuff. Okay, next bit. Okay, so on our shoulder pieces, we'll put a rivet here and a rivet here on each of these. Rivet here, rivet here. Cool. What do we got here? Okay. You know, if I had a good way to emulate it, I would play Resident Evil 4 tonight, because it is the 10th anniversary of its release. Let's see. I'll be back in a bit. Have to go pick up dinner. I'll let Dave. Oh, well, you don't need to, Rose. But you know, thanks if you do. I'm a little intimidated by the concept of him knowing that I'm streaming. You know, I won't lie. Oh, Carl Sagan thinks you're awesome, Rose. Carl Sagan thinks you're awesome, and you are, rightly so. Okay, so now, Rose, let me know when you get back, because I'll actually try on the whole kit and caboodle, the entire suit, when you come back. Don't be intimidated, he encourages it. Okay, I'll try not to be. Let me get the other side piece. You know, this piece still has a little bit of rough bits. I'm actually going to wait until I can Dremel this before I throw that on there. So let's see. The only other thing to do now... That's done. Those are done, but they need a little bit of adjustment. So we'll take care of that. That's good. Okay, let's do the designs on the thighs. Now let me find my paper. I believe it was right about here. Here we go. Here's the design we're going to be putting on the thighs. So let's pull that up. Where did I put... here we go. Alright, so that's around the back. We'll keep it just normal on the front. Except for we want to make this sort of pull here. Let's go from halfway down. Ooh. Just fine. Let's go 10 centimeters down the leg. 10 centimeters. And we'll come 14 centimeters in. 14 centimeters in. We'll do this, actually, 10 centimeters. Let's do 14 centimeters total, and then at 7 centimeters we'll cut this bit. 7 centimeters. So we should have something that goes a little bit box. If that's a 7 centimeter bit, 7 centimeter, 14 centimeters, we'll have a little something like that with a rivet. That should be good. You missed Samek. Well, Mac won't be wearing the Samus costume, so you know you haven't missed anything. But you know I do appreciate everybody acting with proper behavior around Chimera Rose. She's a fantastic person. And a very helpful person as well. Let's see. Let's go down. Interesting. Oh, right, because I'm not accommodating the drift that we get in there. So, if we're taking into account the drift, we're coming in at about 16 centimeters, so 8 centimeters down. Let's go 9. 9 centimeters down, and then we'll cut over. Mac is too good at math. I say he was born an Asian. Nice. So we'll wind up. I know it's kind of dark, but we'll wind up taking this and we'll cut it very shallowly, and then heat it up so that it winds up giving us this sort of nice straight line down and a rivet near the. Playing high school, so it's easy for me to believe. So we'll just make that. And, I don't think we need to do a rivet on the inside. This is going to be in by my crotch, and nobody's really going to see that. Hopefully. Aside from Mrs. the Mac, of course. But let me just record this. We went 14 in. We went 9.5 straight down. Okay, and... yeah, we'll repeat the design on the back side. And we went 9.5, right? So we'll only go about 9 or so. So Mac, I tweeted a review idea. Yeah, the bag. Yeah, except for her indeed. 8.5 down, and then we'll do this bit over. This is something, the design phase is something I should have taken care of before I started, before I put all of it together, but so many ideas were not well planned out, just kinda happened, you know what I mean? So yeah, the carrying case, yeah, it's not bad. I think I might go for it. Let's see here. You know what? Gonna sharpen this up a little bit. Yeah, holds monitor, mouse, and keyboard, me hearty. Here we go. Yeah, it does look interesting, that's for sure. Although, I won't lie, I suspect this is one of those ideas that House recommends for me to review so that when I'm done with it, I can send it his way. What time is it? 3:44 p.m. Okay, time for a little bit of heat. Put some heat on. So again, look at it there, and I'm actually going to do my best to heat it while you can still see it, so that you can see the change. And now you can actually see it. It's made of... Well, no, I plan... Okay, see you, Sir Double J. Have a good one. Plan on buying one anyway because, you know, I've been looking for a monitor bag. Oh yeah, I know, House. I'm just teasing. Gonna bend this in a little bit. Alright. So yeah, that's the thigh. We'll come back around with some of that gel super glue and push that together to get some nice clean seams. Where's the... here we go. Alright, so 14 in. Down. Nine and a half. And over. Yeah, it would have been much easier doing this when it was flat, but again, this is what comes from not having planned things out beforehand, just kind of trying by guess and by golly. A statement. And let's do go centered. Seven, let's do, again, let's do, there we go, and cut over. Let's do this one a little up. A little higher. Yeah. That's the ticket. And you know what? Skype, quit giving me notifications. Don't want to know who's on there. Don't care. At least not at the moment. I'm busy. Okay.
Place my dreams among the stars while I'm standing on the pavement. Spinning around,
Lost without you, trying to make a statement.
live the weight on my shoulders. With the birds in the sky is where I'd like to be. Without gravity to hold us down, together we lose sight of the ground.
You know, interesting side note. We have no reason to believe that that humans can successfully make offspring, at least in the traditional fashion, in space. And we have enough reason to believe that that the development of a child, of a baby, in space would be terrible, because many of the things that we've evolved to need with regards to developmental processes and such just doesn't exist in space, namely gravity. So, while potentially it's possible maybe the Russians have had sex in space and have had offspring that have resulted from such. I wouldn't put it past the Russians. They do everything in space. They smoke in space, they drink in space. NASA doesn't fool around with that stuff, though. It is one of those things where I do have to wonder, maybe they have had some Russians make babies in space. And they're like, oh, well, for Mother Russia! And they've gotten it on up in the space station. But then, maybe when the time comes that they actually have offspring from up in space. Wait, space sex? Yeah, that they've been, maybe potentially the children or the offspring are, I don't know, horribly deformed or something. It's not outside of the realm of possibility. As a matter of fact, it's likely that that's what happens if you are conceived in space. People talk about all the things that'll happen to you if you are conceived out of wedlock. Alarmists. They need to be worried about what happens if you conceive in space. Conceived in space is much worse. But I don't know, again, we haven't really... as a matter of fact, NASA actively discourages any sort of intimate contact in space in both their selection. Of course, there were some early astronauts that they did get basically secretly married before they went up to the space station. And yeah, NASA almost barred them from going because they were concerned about stuff like that happening. Which is why I'm like, but who knows? Maybe the Russians, because those Russians don't seem to care about anything. Yeah, but artificial gravity just isn't happening. There are ways you could try and get it, but developmental process-wise, you would need more than just a little bit of artificial gravity. You would need a lot of it of artificial gravity a lot of the time for proper development. Just think about the development that the human body goes through from zygote. People gaining a heartbeat, development, capillaries. What happens to an organism that no longer needs to grow that way? You get strange enough growing things that happen in space when you're growing, plants in space. So, yeah. On Mars, oh, don't get me started on Mars. Yeah, we'd die on Mars. It wouldn't work. Gravity that low. Granted, it's greater than nothing, but yeah, they've got problems. So, yeah, sorry. Just musing a little bit. musing a little bit about stuff. Okay, there we go. There's our left thigh. Again, this one has a few more hangers on than the previous bit, so I think what I'll do is I'll actually Dremel this piece off at the same time that I'm dremeling these bits and putting the rivets into this. That should help me get that done a little bit better. So, yeah. But I do have this all sorted out, which is good. And yeah, so that's all sorted out. We'll get the thing pieced on here, and then that'll be good for that. Yeah, I don't want to heat that up till I've done the dremeling. Okay, cool. So now I know that Rose intends on bringing Dave back in a bit, so I don't want to cut the stream, even though I've got to step outside to do the dremeling. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip on a little vidya right quick, one of my things, and we'll just play that for a few minutes while I'm doing the dremeling. Shouldn't take me more than shouldn't take me more than like 3 minutes. So I'll pick something. Let's see. Finished videos. Let's just add some text to let people who stop in know. Text. We'll call it BRB. Okay, let's see. Let's do 33. Scroll speed, let's scroll at, let's see, 35. Oh, no, not 350, 35. Yeah, that'll be good. Yeah, let's stick with 48. Yeah, that's good. And, enjoy this video. Okay, good. Transferred that over here. Okay, let's stop that music. And instead, let's get one of these videos here. Let's grab... Oh, no, don't want to do that. Oh, that's when I got the world record for that. Okay. Let's see here. Sorry, I need something about 5 minutes in length or so. Feel free to pipe up. Feel free to pipe up if you've got anything here. Man. That's the problem. I tend to deal in like 5-minute stuffs. You know what I mean? I don't often, less than 5 minute. I don't very often go farther than 5 minutes into something. Let's see here. Complete videos. Yeah, you know what? We'll just grab a few of these apps. Let's see. Yeah, that's 10 minutes in length. Here we go. Let's grab... Well, I could play that Minecraft with the Misses thing, but I don't think so. Let's do Artemis Spaceship Bridge Simulator, Castle of Illusion, and... Ooh, Elder Sign Omens. That's a good one. And... yeah, that one. We'll play those. Okay, there we go. Okay, almost done getting this set up. Oh. Let's just move that all together. Here we go. What on earth? I don't care! Stupid Steam! We're actually going to exit Steam. That's right. Don't need Steam anymore. Okay, and now... let's just move this thing down a bit. Okay. Let's just edit this thing. Okay, turn off the web camera. Okay, cool. Alright, so I'm going to go and I'm going to... make that Dremeling real quick. I'll be back 5 minutes tops, but just in case it takes a little bit longer, I've got slightly longer bits here. These are a couple of the apps that I reviewed and placed on YouTube, so you could find them there, but I'll be back in just a minute. So yeah, BRB.
This is the space vessel Artemis. We've taken heavy damage. We've lost all of our damage control beams. All this could have been avoided if only we had just had a tutorial. But I'm afraid this will be the last transmission of the Starship Artemis. The Artemis Spaceship Bridge Simulator has been around for close to 2 years, but just a few months ago it was finally released for iOS and Android. One of the huge pluses of this game is that you can play it with a mix of platforms. In our party we had an older Nexus 7, a Sero 7 Pro, a Dell laptop, an iPad, the 2nd gen, an iPad mini, and a few generic single-core Android tablets. It all worked out pretty well, We did have some connection issues, but we discovered it was mostly a problem with our router rather than the game itself. Now, your roles are Captain, whose device is usually the server or main screen, Helm, Weapons, Engineering, Science, and Communications. Now, some stations are better suited for computer. Engineering comes to mind, but all in all, the touchscreen interfaces are designed pretty well for this well-done port. Playing this game was sheer bedlam, and in the best of ways. At one point, as we were about to be destroyed, our comms officer demanded that the enemy ship surrender, and it worked. Hey, comm station for the win. Well, let's get a few things straight here. This is a party game, and that means that if you don't have 6 people, chips, and drinks, you're not ready to play. Now, the listed minimum requirements is 2 players, 1 for Helm and 1 for Weapons. But when was the last time that the minimum requirements were ever sufficient to do anything properly? This is perhaps one of the hardest reviews for me to do because how can I properly convey how much fun it was? I suppose the best thing I can say is that after 4 hours of playing, all we could talk about was getting 30 more people so we could have 6 ships on the same server and tackle the harder missions. As I referenced at the beginning, you really need to watch a tutorial before you start off. Artemis does not hold your hand while playing, and even on the easiest difficulty, you will be lucky if you survive your first mission. But a quick pro tip, weapons lock. You need it. At $2.50 on the Google Play, App Store, and Amazon App Store, you and 5 of your friends would be pretty foolish not to.
"15 minutes. That's how long we have before that refund button disappears. So the question is, can we determine whether or not it's a game worth our time when we give it its 15 minutes of game?" Hey everybody, Maction here, and presented for your consideration today is Castle of Illusion, a game starring Mickey Mouse. No, it's not this one, but the re-release on Android. Now, one item to get out of the way right off the bat. The music is fantastic, and the narrator is the excellent Richard McGonigal. I have no doubt, though, that if I used that music, Disney's robots would copyright strike my YouTube account into oblivion. As a matter of fact, as I record this, I imagine that maybe just the video will cause me trouble, but let's hope not. So this game is $9.99 in the Google Play Store, and is a remastered version of the 1990 Sega Genesis game, but as you can see, the graphics are much improved. I wish I could say the same about the controls. The left side of the screen is where you will use a dynamic thumbstick, and the right side is for jumping, or the red button for weapons. The controls are just plain hard to use. You can get them to work, but in practice they feel like using a dollar store knife rather than a scalpel. And in platformers, precision in controls are key. It uses a 2.5-dimensional approach. That is, for the most part, it's a 2D side-scroller, with occasional background enemies that shoot across your path, and it briefly moves into a 3D Mario 64-style approach during transitional stages. This is quite fun, and I loved their implementation of gimmicks at these points. It is clear that while this is a remastered version of an older game, quite a lot of work and love went into this. The levels, while derived from the originals, have quite a bit that makes them different. The apple boulder here is a good example of where they took an idea from the original and expanded it. It's all very nice and quite easy on the eyes. All in all, I find that between the excellent sound, the great narration, and the nostalgia, it is quite a contender. But $10? At its heart, it's a platformer, and a platformer with imprecise controls. If this were $5, I would have no reservations keeping it. But those controls just undermine what would otherwise be a great gaming experience. I'm going to hit the refund button on this one because the price is just a touch too high for that lack of precision. If you like this game and want to get it for yourself, there's a link in the description to the store page. And if you're subscribed, comment on this video and I'll even throw in one $10 gift card to a randomly selected commentator so you can get the game on me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you've enjoyed, and if you have, a comment or a like would be most appreciated. You see, it's your feedback that lets me know how to best allocate my time to the things that you want to see. If you click on any of the videos around here, you'll be taken to a playlist with more of that particular brand of madness. And be sure to subscribe so that you can always be the first to know when I have some new content out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you around. Welcome to 15 Minutes of Game, the series where we find out if an Android game can impress within the 15-minute refund window. Most of these will not, in fact, be 15 minutes in length, but graduates from this show may eventually get an in-depth review of their own. Elder Sign Omens, a game based off of the H.P. Lovecraft universe and closely related to the complex Arkham Horror board game, or the less complicated Elder Sign. Basically, Omens is just a streamlined version of the Elder Sign board game. Here's how it works. You start the game, pick your poison, and then pick your team. You must choose. Choose wisely. Once you start, you get a fantastically atmospheric intro.
Okay, so enough of that. Alright, let's turn off that and turn back on the camera. We can turn off the BRB text and close that out. Let's get this back on the main screen here. Perfect. And last but most certainly not least, let's get some music again, shall we? Ah. Right about there is where we want it, I think. Alright, so let's get back to it. So, I went outside, I went ahead and I dremeled these things down. We will... Actually, that's still a little loud. I'm gonna adjust it down a bit. There we go. That's the ticket. Alright, so I dremeled these down a little bit, and instead of doing what I was going to do, this is probably a terrible idea, but we're in the 11th hour. It is time for ideas, terrible or no. So let's power forward, shall we? Sharpen up our Kniffy. Okay. Chris and Rose are still lurking, which is totally fine by me. And Kame's even still lurking. I think he's probably getting set up for his stream. He's probably still only lurking in sort of, name only. You know what I mean? Alright, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to... oh, dang it, I forgot to put the rivets in. Of course, because I would forget to put the rivets in. Okay. We might switch back to that for a minute. Sorry, I'm ridiculous. But what we're going to do is we're going to give ourselves a nice little angle, and we'll do this. Thanks, house. Sadly, I might be going right back to it in a second. But we're going to give ourselves a nice little 45-degree angle. And we're just going to pull along this way. It's not the best because it does tend to flex a little bit, but I'll clean that up with the Dremel when I put on the rivets. I'll just clean that up. But I'll get the lion's share off right now. Yeah. Gotta go back outside in a minute. Because I forgot to put on those rivets. But I do have plenty of video for you guys. State of mind. Okay. Alright. So, sorry about that. We'll be right back. But on the plus side, everything's pretty much exactly as I left it. So, it'll be easy to get it right where I wanted. Let's see, we were in data. We were in data, not Geordie. Yeah, one of my drives is labeled data, the other's labeled Geordie. I think it's funny. Complete videos. Let's see, Elder Signs, Omens, we were looking at a second ago. And what was the other one that I put on here? It was... Let's see. Yeah, let's do these two. That should be more than enough. Mage and Magnetic by Nature. And a third one just in case. Quest for Infamy. Yeah, that'll be good.
This is the story of an evil witch.
Okay. Sorry, you guys will like this, I think. What do we got? Side. Such a nightmarish place to be. Some days. Some days.
This is the story of an evil wizard, trapped for eternity, until a bumbling mage school dropout set him free, and the one possession spell that ensured they had to keep it together. It's Mage. So now that you know the premise behind the game Mage, from here on out you're really trying to get powerful enough to break you and your evil wizard friend out of the underground cavern where you are. So you're going around collecting old spell books and runestones. Now, of course, the mechanics are pretty simple. You've got left and right, you've got a jump, eventually you get a double jump, you shoot fireballs, and you can also shrink. All of these mechanics come into play at various levels, and the developers really struck a good balance between difficulty and simplicity. It really works out very well in Mage. None of the bosses are too difficult. The last one is difficult but very rewarding, whereas the earlier ones are just the right mix for your skill level. This is the type of game that you can beat beginning to end in about an hour, and at the end of it, you don't feel like you've wasted any time. And if you don't have that much time dedicated to this one purpose right then, you can always put it down and pick it up later, and not really suffer that much. It saves as you go, so there's no issues about losing progress or anything like that. There is still the occasional bug in the software, but nothing that won't get ironed out with a couple more updates. For 99 cents, it's well worth every penny. Mage is a game that is well worth playing. Hey everybody, Maction here, and we're going to look at Magnetic by Nature. Magnetic by Nature is a platformer with minimal platforms. Most of your work will actually be done interacting with magnets, balancing the attracting and repelling actions within a hostile environment. Sometimes clinging to the magnetic balls for safety, at one moment hugging the walls, and other times rocketing yourself to new heights. But let's be honest, you'll mostly be relishing the acceleration upwards. The game opens with our protagonist, Point One and his quest to gather energy and reactivate his fallen friends. And a couple levels into it, you actually start dealing with the main mechanic of this game, the attract and repulse functions of Point One. The gameplay has an easy difficulty curve that lulls you into believing that you'll make it to the end of the game. You naively think you stand a chance, and then before you know it, you realize you've spent 4 minutes so far on this level and still can't quite make that jump. But you finished the last one, so why not this one? And that's the key to difficulty curves, finding the right balance between challenge and hope, and Magnetic by Nature strikes a proper balance. Having interviewed one of the team behind this game, I have a greater appreciation for their choices with Magnetic by Nature. With regards to graphics and style, it's very Art Deco 1920s design, and absolutely lovely. The backgrounds feel dark and brooding, however, never once did I wonder, is this ledge background or foreground? And only once did I fail to notice a door that had opened to let me pass. This kind of clear definition makes you feel like you really are fighting the game and the environment rather than the programmers. And for me, that makes a world of difference when playing. They even managed to slip in a few fun Easter eggs. See how many references from H.P. Lovecraft you guys can find. Now, the left analog stick controls your movement. A for jump, Y for menu, and left and right triggers for attract and repulse. It is noteworthy that the controls are tight enough when you are on the ground, but when magnetizing in the air, it's much harder to hit your mark, not because of the controls, mind you, but because of the nature of your movement while magnetizing. It's tough to explain in words, but I think you'll understand from the video. Perhaps the hardest thing to get a good feel of is the quick switches that you have to do between attracting and repelling as you're going through the environment, but you catch on reasonably quickly. One of the things that does confuse me is the loading screens. I'm not sure they are entirely necessary for this game because of its size, and while it's not a major strike, it does harm the feeling of polish that the game otherwise has. The music is lovely, and Lance Montgomery did a great job on its 11 tracks. I personally think that the game would benefit from about 3 or 4 more tracks to give a greater sense of variety to the levels, but as is, it's still doing a great job of conveying the sense of loneliness and longing that the game sets up so well. And if speedrunning is something that you enjoy, it tracks your attempts on each level, but be warned, it keeps the time from your failures if it's within the same round, so you'll probably want to hit restart on the level if you die. Now, I'm not an especially fast player, so I really only hold the number 1 spot on a couple of levels. For now, that is. But because this is multi-platform and the other platform releases have not yet happened, I don't know if the times are across all the platforms or just specific to that OS. Currently, the game's available for purchase on the Ouya, and will soon be coming out for PC, Mac, and Linux. For $10 on the Ouya store, I was well pleased with this minimally platformed platformer, and I think you will be as well. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you've enjoyed, and if you have, a comment or a like would be most appreciated.
Alright, I've returned from the Great White outdoors, and we can get this rocking and rolling again. Sorry again about the delays. It's stuff that just has to get done. Okay. Don't need those anymore. Alright. So now we've got a beveled edge. Let's see if you can see it. Instead of a flat edge on these. Took it out there, got it sanded a little bit, and put a couple rivets on it. They're not the best rivets in the world, but I'm not the best riveter. Definitely not the best artist in the world, so I think it's good enough for me. Now, we of course will be putting raw foam. I dremeled the underside, raw foam to raw foam, so I'll just need to heat this up, bend it to the approximate size that we need, and then add it on. We'll just take a minute, get this warmed up. Now that it's there, it's a lot more pliable. And then, yeah, we'll just curve it. Curve it the way we want it. Curve it the way we need it. So now, when we put it onto here, it should do a pretty good job of covering up the inside as well as the outside. Yeah, and so we'll affix it, we'll affix it up here, and then we'll let it sort of just lie across the back so that it does cover so that it covers the things, but doesn't keep us from actuating it. Rip Batman armor? What you talking about, House? Rip Batman armor. I was never doing Batman armor. Ooh, don't want to go any hotter right there. Oh, and you know what? We could use some music, because silence is deafening. I think the meaning of that term is that you don't realize how loud things are until you don't have something else to distract you. Not so much that actually silence is deafening, that you will go deaf from silence or some such, but that, yeah, I think that's the actual meaning of the phrase. Is that, only when you don't have other sounds going on do you realize just how loud the silence of your life is, if that makes sense. Let's see here. Okay. Good. We've got 2 pieces, one for each shoulder. Now let's go ahead and attach them, shall we? Get them to cover up the unsightly shoulder points. Yeah, that's about where I want it. Okay. Okay, if we push it up near the front and just kind of work it back, we'll work the lion's share of the hot glue backward towards here, towards the shoulder, rather than forward toward the crease, which is what we want. Okay, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but this is looking pretty dang awesome, I think. Pretty dang awesome! I won't lie, I'm fairly pleased with myself right now. every time I think, you know, in past streams, every time I've acknowledged the people who are watching on YouTube as well, you know what happens? They just disappear. It seems like every time I glance over at YouTube, if there's someone there, I'm about to go like, oh, hi to the people who are watching on YouTube. Okay, goodbye. Thanks, so glad you came. That's just kind of the way it goes. Okay, cool. Now, we're only affixing it at the front, not at the back, because we want to keep the actuation from the chest piece so that I can slip easily in and out of it. The way that I've got it set up, that's kind of the only way to do it. But, oh, well, let's see. This is how we want it situated, just like so. But you know what? I am going to make another bend on this thing. I'm going to bend this side downward a little. YouTube Kappa. Think the people on Twitch are weird? The people of YouTube are even worse. You know, I don't know what to think. It's just kind of like, oh, so, you know, you wanted to come around and watch, but you didn't want to, like, let me know that you were here? I mean, I'm all fine and good with lurking. I mean, Chris has been lurking this whole time. But I mean, you know, there comes a point at which I kind of expect if I say hi, you at least say, oh hi, I'm just gonna lurk, you know what I mean? Anyway, so I've turned it down towards the end so that it looks a little better. I probably ought to have done it over here, but oh well, it'll be fine. Protect your soul. Okay, and bam, let's do this thing. Okay, let's position and clip in. Okay, good, and work this back. Oh hey Kame, streamed for an hour only to have my lose my mind, Windows won't stop freezing up or crashing, your PC losing its mind? I'm so sorry to hear that, Kame. I've had some computer trouble lately myself as well. Thankfully, it hasn't reared its ugly head yet today during the stream, at least that I'm aware of. But yeah, I've been having some computer troubles as well. Probably related to some stuff I tried to do to get certain things working. But either way, Kame, welcome. I'm glad to see you, man. Always good to have you here. Okay, Kame. That's the chest piece, everybody. That's what it looks like, and that's pretty well finalized. The only thing left to do is paint. Paint these bits. Hey, Jutley. Kame sorta kinda raid. Thanks for the raid, Kame. I'm sorry that you've been having so much trouble, man. I mean, feels bad, man. Look at that thing, just looks great. So, I kind of wanted to put this off till Evil FX, till Dave showed up, because Rose said she was going to bring him over. And hi everybody who's come around. I thoroughly appreciate you being here for this. But I kind of wanted to wait until Dave showed up Evil FX because there was a little bit, a lot of the techniques that I've been using I've learned from him, and even though I'm nowhere near as good at the techniques as he is, you kind of want to be like, senpai, notice me, senpai. So it is one of those things where I kind of wanted to wait, but I don't really have that much of an option due to the fact that I have to cut stream at like 5 o'clock and get this cleaned up for my next activity. So I think I'll work on just the hasp here on either side, and then I'm gonna try it all on and show it to you. Did Mac just Onyx? Did I just Onyx? Jetly, I'm not entirely sure I catch your meaning about did I just Onyx. Onyx is a Pokemon. And as far as I'm aware, I did not Pokemon anything. So, yeah. Now let's see, how thick are we looking? We're looking centimeters. Basically a full centimeter thick. Okay, where's my... Is the Weird Gamer Guy? Yes, I did. I did just quote the Bizarre Gamer Guy. The Uncomfortable Gamer Guy. Okay. So what we'll be doing is we've got these areas here where it meets together. What we'll do is I'll actually put a little bit of Velcro on the inside and a little bit of the hooks here and the loops here, and then it'll meet together, and then we can just pull them apart, like so. That's my plan. A Windows update, eh?
Don't try this yourself. It's extremely dangerous.
Let's do 5 centimeters in length. Okay, and right down the middle. Cool. Alright, we'll do a similar thing on the other side. Yeah, if you get it working and you want to, take your folk and go, Kame, I do not begrudge you at all. Not one bit. I got the newest version of Dolphin Emulator and had to get a new graphics driver from Microsoft. On more than I wanted. Ah, I see. Okay. That's what happened. Cool. Alright, so now we've got our half and half. My concern, though, and I voice this here, is that I'll be able to get them together. But then, I don't know, that's not too shabby. That'll probably be enough. Yeah, that'll probably be right. My concern was I didn't want to get so much on there that with the hooks and loops that I wouldn't be able to pull it apart without, doing some kind of damage, which has been a concern. Lesson: read every last word before clicking OK on everything. That should be politically correct 101, right? Is that what you're saying, Jutly? I like saying Jutly because it sounds like Jet Li. Jutly. Skyward bound. Ooh, I need to trim some stuff right here on the inside. There's a little bit of excess hot glue that's going to make it difficult to connect these two bits. So I'm going to need to shave just a little bit. I don't need to shave too much though, because we're going to be linking down here. Fly so much higher. Oop, need to shorten this down farther. That's okay. That's how it's pronounced, Jet Li, so it's good. Don't be in a hurry doing crucial things. I went to the second farthest back restore point that I could. Let go, skyward bound. So let me explain a little bit of my thought process of putting the hooks in here. Is because if I have the hooks on here, and this is sort of the free-flowing end back here, then if that touches my suit, it's gonna snag. It'll snag the Lycra. But if I put it here, then there's very little chance of that happening. So that's why I'm putting the hooks here. And you should make similar decisions if you find yourself making the same, in the same situation. It's make sure that keep the loops as far away as you can from any actual fabrics. Ouch. That's okay. Would somebody get that robot for me? If nobody makes it to it before I do, let's ban. Yeah! I got at him first. Haha! I heartily dislike robots. Robots, however, I enjoy. Robots are the best. Now let me see here. I'm just gonna shave a bit off this side because we have the identical dimensions. Okay, cool. All right, now for the loop segment. This has been a really cool idea for a stream and fun to watch over the past few weeks. Thanks, Kame. I'm glad that you've been enjoying it. I've been having a heck of a good time as well. It's just been a hoot and a half. Okay, is that going to work? Yeah, it looks like that'll work. Okay, so I can just glue this on wholesale. Okay, now I'm going to flip it over. I'm sorry, I know that this isn't all that interesting visually from there, but I do need to have it this way so that I can get access to the pieces. but I'm putting this on this outside just right here, down here. And just a very thin layer of glue. Don't overdo it, because you don't need all that much at all. It's going to just sort of... Man, when we've got the Plastidip and we're Plastidipping all this stuff, boy, is that gonna be crazy. That is going to be a crazy day, a crazy several hours, frankly. Okay, now I'm gonna get started on the opposite side here. No, that's not it, is it? Yeah, I guess that is it. Oh, right. On the inside here. That's right. Let's flip this over. Hook and loops on the inside here. Okay, that's probably a little bit more glue than's necessary, but don't have much of an option. Sometimes I talk about crazy stuff to try and encourage audience participation. Earlier, when it got quiet, I took a moment to talk about sex in space. And how, number one, it's probably a bad idea, and number two, it's unlikely that you'll get any viable offspring off of a mating in space. And not just viable, but healthy as well. It's unlikely. But maybe it's time for another discussion about that. Okay, we're getting close. After I get this pushed together, then I'll change into the clothes and do this, put this whole thing on. Yes, indeed, Kame. My wife, being the astronomer and astrobiologist and everything else that she is, we have long conversations about stuff like this. We have no real reason to believe that since so much of your physiology relies on gravity to function, that tinkering with that is going to be successful, at all. It certainly wouldn't be a good idea. Well, I mean, I'm sure that the Russians have done it. I'm sure that the Russians have had sex in space. In space! However, the item that's up for consideration is, was successful insemination had in space, or were any? Because I mean, you could just imagine that the Soviets were like, "You must have a child in zero gravity for Mother Russia," and you can just, you can absolutely imagine that going down. But at the same time, you have to wonder, if it did go down like that, what happened? where are the children that were had in space? And again, this is speculation that it happened in the first place, but I mean, Russia's been all about pushing the borders of safety. I mean, do you remember they used to use pencils in space until the graphite, shavings would short out their instruments and cause issues? So it is one of those things where you just gotta ask yourself, did they not? Not did they, but did they not? That's the approach to take when asking yourself about the Russian space program. Not did they do X, but did they not do X? Because that's just the kind of way they do things. Do they not have alcohol in space? Oh no, they've got alcohol in space. Do they not do X, Y, or Z? Oh no, they do it all. But it is one of those things where you ask yourself, that's the appropriate way to ask. Okay, so now, moment of truth, we're going to try this on. Going to take off the headphones for a second.
Push me down to the ground. What goes around comes around. You won't put the flame out. You can't get to me. Say what you want to say. Go take it all away. But I'm here to stay. No, you can't get to me. And there is no barricade that I can tear away. Shoot me down, but fire away, away. But I'm a heavyweight.
Okay, so it fits, and it fits all right, and it's not too shabby. What I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to take a moment and calling the NSA. I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to grab the underclothes. I'm going to get changed into the underclothes, and then I'm going to put the entire ensemble as it stands on. So give me just a moment. Oh, better start up some more music, I think. Hang on a second. Okay, and I just need to put on the top. So I'll be back in just a second. Ooh la la. You know what? This is all fine and good, but you can't hardly see me. Well, we'll just kinda... I'll figure out a vantage point, but in the meantime, I'm gonna get suited up. I can't quite get suited up yet. I haven't added this to the other side of the thigh. So we've got to do that right now, and we've got to do it fast, because I am getting down to the wire here. Okay. Okay. Let's do this. Gotta get this on there. Gotta go fast. First thing, I'll do this for the camera so that you can see how it's just, you know, just lines and pen. Not just lines in pen anymore. Okay. Round this thing out. Okay, and now it's time to glue this thing on. Okay. Do this. I'm worried that I don't have quite enough hot glue, but oh well. We gotta press forward. Okay, hopefully we're able to put enough solid pressure on this thing to get a good solid mechanical seal, or mechanical bond. We're approaching the 4-hour mark of the stream, and we're approaching the end of the road. Okay. I'm sure that looks comical, and I'm sure House is going to mix up a fun joke about it later, but we're in there. We're in there. Okay. Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. Alright. Time to get suited up. We'll start with the thighs. Now, I still do have to add some stuff on the inside of these to hold everything up in the configurations that they're supposed to go in, but for the moment, this will do. Yeah. Alright, codpiece goes on first. Oh, that's right, I did put that in there. Now, I'm actually going to dispense with this and just make it, straight up one-piece codpiece, and then, have some little hooks that it holds on to. But there we go, and Okay. There we go. Let's see. Let's do shoes next. And you know what? Instead of actually putting on the shoes, I'm just going to put on the covers for the moment. Because we are in a time crunch at the moment. Come on. There we go. What do we got here? Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you getting him for me. All right. I'm not exactly sure why they call it a cod piece, to be honest. Now these are supposed to come a skosh higher.
We need some action!
Aro. Thank you very much for the follow. Thank you very much for the follow. Again, this is actually going to have, what we're going to do is we're going to put some Velcro on the inside here to hold it up where we need it. Okay, and that actually clips in quite nicely to the feet here at the ankles. Alright, now it's time for the last couple of bits and pieces. Got to take the hat off for this. Or the thingamajig. Chest piece. Okay, just Aro. I hope I might learn a trick or two while I practice my chainmail skills. Them green pants look nice, thanks. Thanks, there's still some design work left to be done. Bottom, top. Blaster still needs to be made. Now I'm going to move the camera around so you can see a little bit. So, a couple things to keep in mind. One, these thighs need to have something that's going to hold them up a little higher. Number two, except for the helmet, none of this is painted. So all of it's going to look a little bit more similar to this. Thanks, Kame. And additionally, it's become clear... Yeah, hang on, didn't get that quite situated properly. There we go. It's become quite clear to me, as I've been trying to get this sorted, that the leg pieces are all going to need some adjustments. For example, I'm going to need to adjust the thighs a little bit so that they come up higher, and the shins so that they go down lower, which is basically going to be by cutting a bit off the bottom. I'll start with an inch, I'll try that out, and then I'll cut up another inch, and so on, until I get to the point where it fits properly. But yeah, this is the suit. And with the exception of the blaster that I'm going to have to build probably tomorrow, but with the exception of the blaster, that's every individual piece done. They all need to be plastic dipped and painted. I'm feeling the stress. I'm feeling a little bit stressed, but we're going to get this thing ready for Halloween. So yeah. Good question, Aro. What it is it's actually, it's actually spray paint. Just be myself. What it is, Aro, is it's actually spray paint. First thing, Plastidip goes on. It's a sort of spray-on plastic, and then the paint goes on top of this. Now I'm using 2 different colors of blue to do it, and I used the Rust-Oleum brand because it's a little bit more, it sticks a little bit better. Yeah. Anyway, that's it. So I do appreciate everyone coming around. I do appreciate the love, the kindness, the follows. Use that on foam, or did you spray? Yeah, I answered that question. So yeah, basically, the next thing that we'll have to do before painting is we will have to chop some material off of the bottom of these things, so that we get a better fit. I'm pretty pleased with how the thighs turned out. They did take us a long time to figure out the thigh pieces, but I'm pretty pleased with how they're working. Yeah. But yeah, and then of course those things will slide on, my shoes will go under it on the leg pant bits. Whew, man. And it is going to be hot inside of that. I can tell already, just walking around. But it is winter. Winter is coming. Winter is here. And it'll be just fine for winter. But all this stuff is going to need to get Plastidip, and I mean, that's just sexy. I'll also probably be cutting this bit down a skosh, but we'll be making cuts as needed. Positive. It's a good thing to want. Good thing to want. Pizza, pizza. Okay, so with that done, that's... So as I was saying, with those pieces completed, all that leaves left is the blaster to be worked on tomorrow. Put the camera back down a bit, mate. No, I'm actually all done for the time being. But thank you, Aro. You came in just right at the tail end. I have to get this place cleaned up. I've got visitors coming over very soon. But thank you, everyone, for coming around. We'll be picking this back up tomorrow. And I'll get back to work on it. I'll be building the blaster. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it'll be minor alterations, Plastidip, and painting. That'll be it, and we should have it done just in time for Halloween. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. But I much appreciate everybody coming around. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you gals. I appreciate everybody who gives input and who participates, and to all you lurkers out there, thanks as well. So yeah. So have a good one. Don't do anything crazy. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And yeah, we'll catch you later.